Hi, I'm Kim. Welcome or welcome back. Have you ever thought about what if there was a magic wand and you could turn the clock back and be a teenager or a 20 something or a 30 something or even a 40 something? I'm 59, and on the surface, that seems like a great idea. But today I'm going to share 6 reasons that I would not turn the clock back. Hi, I'm Kim. I make videos about building a new life at 59. I'm a new empty nester. I'm in my first year of grad school to become a licensed therapist. And after being a single mom for over 16 years, I have the bank account and assets of a 20 something. So I started this channel because I just couldn't really find anybody talking about real life stuff on YouTube that is in my age group or older. And I just think representation is really important. So I'm going to share things that will hopefully be helpful, inspiring, encouraging at any age, but particularly if you are over 50 and not where you're supposed to be at this stage of your life. So let's get into it. 6 reasons why I would not go back to my teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. Number one, I didn't know my worth back then. I'm still struggling to know it, but I'm understanding it in a much better way. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I am the adult child of 2 alcoholics. I was raised in a violent home, um, an unstable home. We moved around a lot. We didn't have very much money, and it was just, you were just trying to survive. And so having self-esteem and being confident and knowing your value, first of all, back then they just weren't, it just wasn't talked about. There was not the information explosion that we have now, where you can find YouTube videos on your self-worth or how to recover if you've grown up with alcoholic parents, or really just anything. But now that I know my worth and I'm understanding it as a 59-year-old, this journey probably started in my 40s when I decided I was leaving my narcissist ex-husband, but it's really developed in the last few years, understanding trauma and what having a high ACEs score. If you're not familiar with that, with what that is, I'll put it down below. It's like a childhood score of different traumas that maybe you experienced. Um, so yeah, I didn't know my worth back then, and so I wouldn't go back because that caused me to make decisions that were not the best for me. Number two, I am dripping with wisdom at 59 that I did not have as a teenager or 20 or 30 or 40 something. I'm talking about all different kinds of wisdom. Relationship wisdom, and that could be a whole other video, but you live and you learn. That could be practical things. As the daughter of a single mom and as a single mom myself, and also the adult child of alcoholics, I'm fiercely independent, like too much so. So I have practical knowledge, like how to replace my headlights in my car, how to fix a dryer. Just the other day, I live in an apartment, but a drain wasn't draining, and so I knew how to fix that without Drano, like take it apart and get the stuff out of there. And then, like parenting, parenting. If you are a parent, or um, there's just so much that you learn from being a parent. Some of that is just perspective. So, in communication, wisdom, and trusting myself, we're ladies and men, if you're watching, that are older, we have so much wisdom that you can't buy. You can't get that without life, without going through things, without experiencing things. So that's number two. Number three is I lived until about 3 years ago not understanding what being the child of alcoholics in a violent home did to me and how it affected me on a day-to-day basis, even as an adult, even today. There's been just a plethora of resources and understanding and research on childhood trauma and what that repeated exposure to chaotic and violent and unstable, an instability, what that does to a kid. And then because of that, I married somebody that was abusive and a narcissist. And so I didn't understand. I thought, my parents did the best they could, and they did, and I forgave them, and I did, but that doesn't negate the fact that it impacted me. It changed who I am. And I didn't understand that. I just thought, what's wrong with me? Like, I always knew I was different. I knew, I don't know. It was mind blowing when I started reading and understanding about what prolonged trauma does to a kid. So I wouldn't go back to my teens, 20s, 30s, or 40s because I was still living through that and just felt a lot of shame. Like, what is wrong with me? Get it together. So, wouldn't go back. Number 4, I am the proud parent to 3 amazing daughters. They're 22, 24, and 27. But on this side of parenting, knowing how hard it was, it would be so hard to go back and know what was ahead. I was parenting from an unhealed place because of my childhood, and my kids paid the price for that. They're very gracious and understanding. I've been very open with them about that, but knowing that now, I wouldn't I wouldn't go back and go through it again. I did it alone because of reasons 1, 2, and 3. I didn't realize it at the time, but I married somebody that was completely unavailable. And so even when I was married, I was parenting alone, and I cared so much. I always wanted to be a mom. I think we parent to kind of correct what we didn't get, but I didn't really have the tools to do that completely. I mean, the biggest gift I've given my kids is before I became an alcoholic, I quit drinking over 20 years ago, maybe 19 years ago. When my mom was really struggling. I just thought, I can't do this to my kids. And so that's probably the biggest gift I've given them. But parenting is hard, and now my kids are grown. I can just enjoy them. Of course, when they're struggling, I'm struggling. When they're suffering, I'm suffering. So that never goes away as a parent. You're a parent forever. But it was hard. And I also did it from a fundamental Christian point of view, and I would not do that. I regret a lot of that. So yeah, I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't go back there. Number 5, and this is Anne Lamott, the writer Anne Lamott. If you haven't read any of her stuff, run. But she talks about her third third. So the third third of my life, 59 to hopefully 89, 99, is about me. It's all about me. I don't have parents that, where I'm put in a situation where I have no control over it whatsoever. I'm not married to somebody that does not have my best interest at heart and deeply love and respect me. And I'm not parenting where, if you're a parent, you just pour out, pour out, pour out, pour out, especially as a single parent. And I did it like with no family around, no support other than garnished wages for child support, no physical support. This third third, the light bulb has gone on recently. This is all about me. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, for as long as I want. And so that's why I'm back in school to, do the job I want to do, which is become a therapist. So your third people, hopefully you're in a position. I know I took care of my mom before she died. She had a lengthy illness. I know a lot of people my age are in that mode, and my heart goes out to you. That is so hard. But you're also, even though you may be constrained by the physical part and the emotional part of taking care of them, hopefully, excuse me, you understand They don't get to decide what decisions you make for your life. And, you know, if you're my age, you probably don't have kids at home anymore either. So it's all about us. And then number 6 is you kind of just don't really care what other people think, more so than I've ever been in my entire life. Um, I won't say that I don't care at all what people think. I still, you know, one of the things that comes with being the adult child of an alcoholic and having childhood trauma is shame, where you just never feel worthy enough. You don't feel like, you know, that you measure up. You don't feel, you just feel different. But I remember in my teens and late teens and 20s getting ready to go out, and I mean, I look at pictures now, I thought I was ugly and fat, and it was such dysmorphia because I was not, but I would get ready and redo my hair and literally scrub my face and put my makeup on again and try on 6 or 8 or 10 different outfits. I mean, it took me 3 or 4 hours and I still didn't feel confident going out, because I so much cared about how other people perceived me. And then as a parent, you know, if you're like me, it's like, what's so and so doing? How are they disciplining their kids? What are their kids' activities doing? What are they going to preschool? Oh, my kids don't get to do what so and so gets to do. It's just this constant, what's everybody else doing? Or it was for me. And at this age, it's just, you know, I don't really care. I just don't spend a ton of time. Probably my biggest insecurity is financial, because at my age I'm supposed to be financially secure and, you know, be thinking about retirement, and I'm never going to retire. But overall, compared to my teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, up until recently, I just don't really care. I don't have time for it or the energy. So let me know what you would not, reasons why you wouldn't go back, or reasons why you would. And leave that in the comments. And I'm going to leave you with a quote, as I always do. And so let's do that. Okay, this is appropriate. This is from case.kenny on Instagram. If you're not following him, he's got such great stuff that he posts. This one is, your time on earth is limited. Don't try to age with grace. Age with mischief, audacity, and a good story to tell. Go forth this week and live that out. Now, my dogs.